First of all, let me say a verse of a salutation for the goodness of everything, everyone and everything, the world. Kange tuze nyesune tawa thamje bambechu thambechu ne tunzaba godam dela chache no. Respected His Holiness Pujya Shri.GesheDorji Damdul ji, and then respected all the religious representatives on the dais, and also Shri Gurumurti ji, and all the organizers of this wonderful sixth Hindu, the spirituality and social, the service fair. It is a great honor to be attending this fair. Primarily, listening to Shri Gurumurti ji and his colleagues, I started feeling, in fact it was a concern since long time ago, and it became very prominent today, that the value system which Asia, and particularly India, inherited for the last thousands of years, and the Indian youngsters, they are totally oblivious of these values. They look for the West, and of course it doesn't mean that the West is bad. The West has its own unique qualities, civilizations and so forth, like democracy or science and technology and so forth. But then human beings, what we seek is happiness. Whether you go to the West, whether you go to Asia, India, wherever, we all seek happiness. This is the number one goal. And then all other things, like civilization, democracy, education, social service, all these things are meant to create this happiness for the humanity. So therefore, I feel that it is very important for the people of Asia, and particularly the youngsters, Indian youngsters, the youngsters wherever in Asia, to first of all identify the richness of the Indian culture, the richness of the values which we already inherited since 1,000 years ago. So here I want to make just a few points to reiterate the importance of this gathering. We see that the world, although they may not be, besides terrorism, there are so many chaos, difficulties, challenges, catastrophes, and primarily human-created catastrophes, disasters. When we consult with experts, these man-made problems, they all boil down finally to the loss of the human values, the greed, and so forth. So here, I think that while some of the organizers of this fair, this foundation, they have been very thoughtful. So meanwhile, I just wonder, and I wholeheartedly pray that the organizers, they will eventually, on top of what they have been, a gigantic work that they are doing, I wish if they could eventually have greater influence in the education system of the Indian institutions. And the reason why I'm saying this is that all these problems, whenever there's a problem, it is very important to explore what is the reason for these problems. What are the causes of the problems? This is very important to explore the causes. And by exploring the causes, then by rectifying the causes, the results will automatically be changed. The course, the trend, which is so negatively flowing at the moment, can be changed through through making changes in the factors which are responsible for taking the society in a wrong trend. So what I like to suggest here, on top of my heartfelt appreciations, congratulations to all the organizers, to all the trustees of this foundation, the enormous work that you're doing, enormous work, such a sacrifice, such a commitment. I'm wholeheartedly thanking you for that. The point is that finally, disasters, human disasters, for example, the Asians, Indians, the Tibetans, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, they go to the West. The youngsters, they go to the West. And then, 2003, when I was in Cambridge, in England, I went to old home, right in London. And then there was a big dormitory or big hall. In there were like about 100 Asian old people, all Asian old people. And then a thought came in me. Each of them, they were sitting on a chair. They were all very old, sitting on a chair. Whereas in India, such a thing you will not see. In India, all these old people, they have been taken care of by their children. But whereas in England, they were all just secluded, in seclusion. They stay there. And then the nurses, they were taking care of them. And then a thought came into me. Okay, look. So these old people, these Asians, they must have migrated to England 30 years ago, 40 years ago, with the belief that, oh, in England, my children will have a brighter career, brighter future. Thinking that, okay, with brighter future, on top of what we already have, then education, a brighter future, they will add to the glamour of us. And then actually when they are there, then the children, they grow up at the age of 18, 19, they adopted the Western culture to leave the parents, and then finally the parents were alone. They become crippled, disabled in the nursery homes, and then they were simply waiting for the children to come once in a month. If the children, they do come to visit the parents once in a month, is great. But in India, almost like 24 hours, the children are with their parents, the parents are with the children. So this is what is lacking in the other culture. So this is so alive in India. So we should cherish. And then, as Shri Guru Modi ji rightly pointed out, the need for us to respect our teachers, the need for us to respect our parents. This is extremely a beautiful culture of Asia, and particularly India. In fact, I'm very fortunate, because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that I'm able to travel a lot, to meet with so many prominent people, scientists, activists, and so forth. And then slowly I come to sense that happiness is to do with two things: physical happiness and mental happiness. Because we are constituted of our physical body and a mind. For the physical body, of course, we need to have the physical material things, facilities. Whereas for the mental, there should be mental facilities. And the mental facilities, they are so rich in Asia, and particularly in India, like ahimsa, love. respect for parents, respect for one's teachers, and so forth. So what I like to share with you here is that it's very important, each one of us, if you're old, if you're older or elderly, it is very important to convey this message to your children. If you are a children, it is very important to keep in mind that this is the pride of your nation. And what is that? This is, imagine the sun. Imagine sun. I'll just boil down all what I have to say, the treasure of this nation, and the treasure this fair is trying to uplift and make it manifest to the outside world, can be analogous to the sun. The sun, it has light. The sun is great for its having light. And this light has two qualities. The light, because it is a light, it dispels the darkness. It has the ability to dispel the darkness of ignorance. And this light, it pervades everywhere. Likewise, the culture should be such that it is imbued with a pervasion of love. This light, having the quality of light to illuminate others, it symbolizes the wisdom, the knowledge of the Asian culture, particularly Indian culture. And this light has the ability to pervade everywhere. It symbolizes the culture of love, the love which embraces all others. Only when you have a love, you will help others, you will reach out to others. For example, if there's a professor and you have a very serious exam tomorrow and you go to the professor to seek help, and the professor says, I'm sorry, unless you pay me 5,000 rupees per month, per hour, I can't help you. So even the professor could not help you because the professor lacking the love. The professor cannot reach out to you. But then this light will not say that. The light will pervade everywhere. Likewise, finally, the culture of India, the culture which this Hindu spirituality and service foundation is trying to highlight to the rest of the world, is the culture of knowledge and the culture of love. And if you look at the 6 themes of today's fair, we see that all simply boil down to these 2 things. For example, conserve forest and wildlife. This is a knowledge. You know the interdependency, the knowledge of the interdependency of the human beings and the environment. Only if you know the interdependency, if you keep the environment intact, then we'll be happy. If you destroy the environment, you are indirectly destroying yourself. So with this knowledge, then you conserve the forest, you conserve the ecology. So this is what can be subsumed under the knowledge, the light of the knowledge. And the second one is inculcate family and human values. Why the family is so important? Why the family is where you just feel so free? It's because the family represents the love, unconditional love. This unconditional love is only if the families are together, not separated. So the Indian culture, this is a symbol, this is the role model for such a unconditional love of the family. So this is inculcating family and human values. This falls in the category of the love, the light which has the ability to pervade everywhere. Then falls to women's honor. This combines both. The women, they are the symbol of love. They are the symbol of love. And without a mother, as Shri Gulmurti rightly pointed out, without a mother, how can the family survive? So the women must be honored. So likewise, preserve ecology, sustain the environment. So these are all very important. And then promote patriotism. The sixth point, promote patriotism. So there I think it is very important. There are two elements with the patriotism. One is a sense of uplifting yourself and your nation and undermining other nation. And another one is uplifting your nation to help other nations by being a role model. So of the two, we should not encourage the first one. The first one is like a self-destruction. The second one, to promote yourself so that you can help, you can be the role model to rest of the world. This kind of patriotism is what I very much envision that the Hindu Spirituality and Service Foundation will promote. So, so with this, what I like to share wholeheartedly what I feel and what I shared with Shri Gurmurti ji is that finally all these drawbacks are there now seeping in Asia, seeping in India. So how to check all these things? Of course, modernity. Modernity, which has so many elements, one of which, of course, it has good elements, bad elements, and the bad elements, they are terrible. We cannot predict where this bad element of the modernity will take us towards. So it is very important for us that we remain very steadfast with one's own incredibly rich culture of love and knowledge, which we already inherited since 1,000 years ago, and that these values be inculcated in the schools, universities, and colleges. So this is what I like to share with all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.